Well, good Saturday morning to you, one and all, as we finishing up here with Jeremiah, and we see everything that's going to happen to Babylon. He prophesied that and then sent it off to those who are captive to be read in Babylon, and then the symbolic thing that God often does with His word to emphasize things. So very interesting. But as we look at this, we should consider our attitude towards governments and nations. And we often think backwards to what's actually true. We consider that God has control of us, but the nations get to do whatever they want. And we got to reverse that, because God doesn't want control of us. He's sovereign. He puts everything in place, but we have to choose. It's like salvation. He did everything for our salvation, but it's us who gets to either choose it. It's our choice. We get to accept it or reject it. That's our choice. He doesn't make that for us. So that's a sense of we have the freedom to make our own choices. Whereas nations, God lifts up the governments, He brings down the governments. He raises nations into power, He lowers nations. And they're all according to His agenda, what He wants done. He's moving everything forward to completion. And so we look at this, and Pharaoh is a fantastic example for us. Pharaoh, who the Lord knew his heart, and He used him to move His agenda forward just because He knew his heart. At any time, Pharaoh had free choice. He could do what he wanted, but the Lord knew him. And so when He did certain things, He knew how Pharaoh would respond, even though Pharaoh had free choice in those things. It was Nebuchadnezzar. He knew this man. He used him. And we know through Daniel that he had a heart for him. He cared for him. But He still used him for His purposes. He raised him up, and there was a time limit on it, and then Babylon would be torn down. We look at our governments today, and we need to understand that these governments are in place, these leaders are in place, because that's what the Lord has decided. For His purpose, which is often beyond what we can understand. But it all comes down to trust. Do we trust the Lord? Did Judah trust the Lord when they were sent into captivity? Do we trust the Lord? And whatever the government decides, do we trust the Lord that He has it all in hand? That's a good question for this morning. So I leave that with you. Have a fantastic day. Love you guys. See you real soon. God bless.